There was a mountain in northern Montana that hardly appeared on any map. Official records listed it as part of the Crow's Spine Range, but locals called it the Dark Peak. A gray mass of stone climbing into the clouds, its summit almost always hidden in mist. People said several miners had gone missing there long ago, but no one knew the details. I'm Ian, a nature hiker and landscape photographer for the past 6 years. Sammy, my closest friend, was bolder than me. Risk wasn't excitement to him. It was an addiction. He always wanted to see where the edge really ended. And I was always with him, because I believed every danger could be explained with logic. Until that climb, we parked the car at the trailhead just after dawn. The sky was a dull gray, heavy with clouds that circled the peak but never rained. The air was dry, the wind sharp, the ground cold. Sammy slung his pack over his shoulder and grinned. "There's a pass up there no one's touched in decades," he said. "A cartographer marked it in the 50s before the area was closed. Nobody's tried it since I frowned." "Why was it closed?" "Miners found a tunnel," he said, as if mentioning the weather. "Then there was a collapse. They covered it up. We'll pass right by it." At first, everything was normal. The forest was dense but familiar. The silence was broken only by the crunch of our boots in the frost-covered soil. My GPS worked fine. The compass pointed north. After 2 hours, the tree line thinned. Sammy checked the map in his pack. "We turn right here," he said. "There should be an old mining path." There was no visible road, but beneath the trees, a faint line of stones hinted at direction. Soon the ground changed. The soil turned into a thin black layer. It looked burned, but there was no ash, no smell. Between the rocks, the surface had hardened like glass. I knelt and touched it. It was cold. "What is this?" I asked. Sammy crouched, shrugged. "Volcanic, maybe." But there were no volcanoes here. The wind shifted, carrying a low hum that passed through us before the silence returned. We climbed until noon. The sun didn't show, yet the sky glowed faintly, as if the light came from within the air itself. "The oxygen's weird here," Sammy said between breaths. "Feels like pressure in my chest." My head spun, but I blamed exhaustion. Then, a few hundred meters ahead, something metallic glimmered between the stones. As we got closer, I realized it was a door. Half buried in rock, raised half a meter off the ground. Its surface bore a carved symbol, 3 overlapping circles enclosing a small square in the center. The metal looked like aged bronze. No snow stuck to it. Sammy touched it. This must be the miner's entrance. The instant his fingers brushed the surface, the metal trembled. A clicking sound echoed deep inside. We both stepped back. The door didn't move, but something like a breath passed from within, rippling the air around us. Sammy scribbled in his notebook. "It's sealed, but hollow inside," he said. "If it hasn't collapsed, we could get in." "Don't be stupid," I told him. "There's nothing in there but dead air." He smiled. "Maybe gold." We climbed higher for the rest of the day, but our sense of direction began to fail. The GPS froze, the compass spun. The trees thinned, yet the forest never ended. Every slope looked the same. I couldn't tell where the sun was anymore. The light never changed. Evening came, but the sky remained gray. We set up camp. Sammy tried to start a fire, but the wood refused to catch. We used the gas stove instead. We ate in silence. The night was utterly still. No insects, no birds, no wind. I couldn't sleep. Only my heartbeat filled the void. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the door, the echo that had come from inside. When I woke at dawn, Sammy was gone. The tent flap was open. Outside, his tracks led north toward the ridge. I grabbed my pack and followed. Half an hour later, I stood before the same door. It was open. The snow had been pushed aside, and a dim light seeped out from within. "Sammy?" I called. My voice echoed, then vanished. I stepped inside. The tunnel was narrow, lined with metal walls. Water dripped from the ceiling in slow, heavy drops. The sound carried for miles. The walls had cavities, cables hanging from some. On the ground lay rusted tools, cracked helmets, shattered flashlights. The air was heavy, thick. Breathing hurt. The farther I went, the hotter it became. Eventually, the metal turned to black rock. The tunnel widened, and blue light leaked through the cracks in the stone, pulsing faintly. It wasn't artificial. It felt alive. At the end was a vast chamber. In its center yawned a massive pit, surrounded by a metal stair. The bottom was pure darkness. I couldn't tell how deep it went. Sammy's backpack sat near the edge. His flashlight lay broken beside it. "Sammy!" I shouted again. No answer. Just as I turned to leave, a tremor rolled beneath my feet. The floor quivered, and the blue glow flickered as if breathing. Then came a sound. From below, metal striking stone. I froze. The ground seemed to hum beneath me. I grabbed the pack and ran. When I reached the door again, the world outside was wrong. The sky glowed red. The trees were gray. A thick fog swallowed everything. I kept running, no sense of direction. Finally, I reached a rocky clearing. Below me, the valley spread out, buried under fog. In that fog, something moved. Someone. He wore Sammy's jacket. "Sammy!" I yelled. He didn't lift his head, just kept walking slowly. I ran toward him, but when I got close, I saw it. His feet didn't leave prints. The ground rippled under him like water. I reached out. My fingers grasped air. The fog shifted. Sammy vanished. I collapsed to my knees, heart pounding. I opened his notebook. The last page had a fresh entry, his handwriting. "There's a chamber under the door. The sounds are guiding me. If you can't find me, don't come down." I closed the notebook. The ground still trembled faintly, as if the mountain itself was breathing. The sky's glow dimmed. A low drone rose in the distance. The trees began to move, without wind. The air was being pulled inward. I took a step, and the ground gave way. I sank to my knees in a soft, shifting layer of soil. Tried to pull free, but it clung like liquid. I was being swallowed. I screamed, but my voice went nowhere. The air carried no sound. A burning pressure filled my throat, and suddenly I was falling into darkness. When I opened my eyes, I was in a cavern. Steam drifted up from cracks in the floor. Stalactites hung low, dripping. The walls were carved with symbols, circles, squares, twisted lines, the same symbol from the door. In the center rose a massive metallic structure, not human-shaped, but with protrusions that could have been limbs. It had no face. Rows of holes ran down its body, glowing faint blue from within. I stepped closer. A vibration ran through my chest. My heartbeat shifted to match it. Something moved around the structure. Sammy. His back was to me. "Sammy," I said. He didn't turn. He placed his hand on the surface. The light pulsed. The floor shook harder. "What are you doing?" He didn't answer. When he lifted his hand, the skin on his palm was burned, blistered. "Ian," he finally said, his voice low, distorted. "It's alive." "What is?" "The mountain." The metal groaned, stretching. Dust rained from the ceiling. Sammy turned. His pupils were tiny, his skin ash gray. "We're supposed to stay," he whispered. "This is where we belong." I backed away. "You're insane." "It's collapsing." A blinding blue light erupted from the structure. I threw up my hands, blinded. My ears rang. Sammy's voice echoed through the roar. "Don't leave me." From within the light, a figure emerged, humanoid, but its edges shimmered, shifting. The air thickened. I couldn't breathe. My chest seized. I hit the floor. Darkness swallowed everything. When I woke, it was morning. The tunnel entrance lay before me, but the door was gone, replaced by a mound of stone. The sky looked normal. The GPS worked again. My watch said only 3 hours had passed. I made it back to camp, but Sammy was gone. No footprints, no bag, no notebook, as if he'd never existed. 2 days later, rescue teams arrived. I told them about the tunnel. They followed me there, but at the spot I showed, there was nothing but rock. No metal, no passage, nothing. They blamed exhaustion, oxygen loss, disorientation. But that night I couldn't sleep. In my pack, I found something small. A bronze-colored metal shard. The same symbol carved on it. 3 circles and a square. When I held it, it warmed. My heartbeat changed rhythm. From deep inside the walls, I heard it, the sound of a pulse. Slow, heavy, metallic. Thump, thump, thump. The rhythm merged with mine. The metal vibrated, then cooled. At that exact moment, my GPS flickered on by itself. New coordinates appeared on the screen. North face of the mountain, an unlisted point on any map. Maybe Sammy's still there. Or maybe the mountain made him part of itself. I don't know. But sometimes, late at night, I hear that same pulse through the walls of my house. Thump, thump, thump. Each beat makes my heart stutter. My hands reach for the shard before I realize it. It warms again. And for a second, the air around me feels like it did up there. Heavy, silent, utterly breathless. I close my eyes to calm myself, but behind my eyelids, the light never fades. Blue, trembling, alive. I don't know why it called to us. Maybe something truly lives beneath the mountain, trapped between earth and stone, untouched by time. Maybe we just woke it, or maybe it was never asleep. That morning, Sammy and I planned to reach the summit together. But now I think the moment we saw that door, everything had already begun. Because when I first stepped close to it, I felt that vibration deep in the ground, like a heartbeat. And once you hear it, silence never feels the same again. Now, on nights before rain, I stay awake just to avoid the rhythm. But even silence can't drown it out. It beats with me. Sometimes I feel like both our hearts will stop at once. And every time the metal warms, one sentence echoes in my head. You need to stay.